Okay, hold on first. Okay, hi. Okay, so 10.5 effects and diseases caused by tobacco smoke, the last second section of your respiration lecture series. As you can see, I've placed a lot of stars on this chapter because, not this chapter, sorry, this part, because in combined syllabus, right, this is the most popular question, like how to say, popular part to test. This part, I think this is one part that I'll claim is really pure memory work because yeah, I mean, yeah, so by hook or by crook, this table that you see, right, I'm currently on page 18 of your notes, is something that you need to know. Okay, like everything there, all the details, that one you really need to somehow carbon copy, print and paste inside. Okay, whether by audio, like you can listen to Mr. Cho talk to you, whether by visual, okay, some of you all memorize, or by kinesthetic, you can talk it out. Okay, to help you guys out, okay, I've placed a lot of videos in this section for you to watch. I wish we could be in the lab and I can demonstrate some things to you, but this is the best that we can do for now. Okay, so let's go. Okay, effects and diseases caused by tobacco smoke. So here you will learn why smoking is bad. Okay, you will see that in the table there are four things there, right? So in tobacco smoke, there are four components. Okay, nicotine, carbon monoxide, tar, and irritants. You need to know what each of the thing in tobacco smoke can cause the body. So shall we fill up the first blank here together? So nicotine is an addictive drug. Okay, found in your cigarettes. That's why you see like people why smoking cannot stop, because there's nicotine inside. Okay, so the thing about nicotine is that it makes blood clot more easily. You've learned, right, what blood clotting is in the previous chapter. So the effects, yeah, they also test on the effects. So what can nicotine cause? Your heart rate and your blood pressure to go up. So this is going to increase the risk of blood clots in your arteries, and as you've known, right, it will increase the risk of coronary heart disease. Okay, can? So that's the first thing, nicotine. Okay, so now I'm gonna play you some videos, okay, to watch basically what smoking can cause to your body. So we watch two of these videos first before we move on to carbon monoxide. Okay, so yeah, here's the video.
ดูดเองจริงๆเหรอไม่ให้ครับจ่าเลยดูดไม่ดีนะเลิกดูดได้มันมียาฆ่าแมลงอยู่ในเมมบุหรี่ด้วยนะดูดแล้วหน้าแก่นะสูบบุหรี่เดี๋ยวก็ตายเร็วไม่อยากอยู่เล่นนานๆหรอมันไม่ดีรู้เปล่าสูบแล้วเป็นทั้งมะเร็งปอดร่วมโป่งพองเส้นเลือดในสมองแตก
ไม่ดีแล้วพี่ดูดทำไมล่ะคะ
And push down real hard, really fast. Yeah, you see how like they like funny. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So then. Alright, now try these ones. See how you're only getting part of the lungs are inflating? They're not inflating as much. They're kind of just shitting. Pretty much. Alright, now try these ones. See how you're only getting part of the lungs are inflating? They're not inflating as much. They're kind of just shitting. Pretty much.
Okay, sorry, I mean like just now it was 4 videos, not 2 videos. Okay, I hope that those videos have discouraged you, right, greatly from smoking, as well as it lets you see very clearly what smoking can cause to your lungs. So please don't ever pick up smoking, okay? Then you might ask, well, sure, then why people smoke since it can cause so much harm, all this. Like I said, nicotine is inside, you know, to make people addict, right, into smoking. I did ask some smokers before why. You know, they all say, oh, it helps them to de-stress, it helps them feel warm inside. Some say he thinks it's very cool because can breathe out smoke and look like a dragon. So whatever it is, don't now. Okay, I really think the risk is not worth it. It's better to protect your own health. Okay, now the second ingredient that you can find in smoke is carbon monoxide. You just now have learned carbon dioxide, oxygen, right? So there's carbon monoxide. The chemical formula I didn't write there, carbon monoxide is just CO, or carbon dioxide is CO2. Now, the dangerous thing about this is, okay, so please fill up your first blank over there. It reduces the ability of red blood cells, okay, to transport oxygen. Why? Now, the thing is that carbon monoxide, right, will form a permanent bond with your hemoglobin. You've already learned, right, that with oxygen, it forms a temporary bond. So the hemoglobin get the oxygen, woohoo, go to the place where the cells need, and then okay, now here's your oxygen. But the problem with carbon monoxide is that it will form a permanent bond, such that when it reaches the cells, there's no way, no how that this can or anything can be released. That's why it reduces the ability of red blood cells to transport oxygen. You can write here, okay, it forms carboxyhemoglobin instead of oxyhemoglobin. Okay, not only that, second blank, it will increase the rate of fatty deposits on the inner arterial wall. Okay, so I'm moving on to the effects. As you can see, it reduces ability of blood to carry oxygen. It narrows the lumen of arteries, increasing blood pressure, and increases the risk of atherosclerosis. Okay, you have already learned what atherosclerosis is, right? The fatty deposits in your coronary arteries, all your arteries will start to become thicker, so it narrows the lumen of the arteries. Okay, so common questions in your O levels could be like, oh, which component of smoke can increase the risk of atherosclerosis? Which one will increase heart rate and blood pressure? You need to know specifically which part will do what. So this other by than pure memory, I don't know how else I can help you to memorize here already. Okay, I think it's some more videos after this. Okay, so like let you take a look at what nicotine and carbon monoxide can cause. Okay, so enjoy the videos. I hope you're not eating something. Okay, you take a look for yourself what long-term or prolonged smoking can do to your health. Okay.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. This is part of an aorta, the main artery from the heart. Smoking makes arterioles sticky and collect dangerous fatty deposits. This much was found stuck to the aorta wall of a smoker, age 32. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Every time you inhale, tobacco smoke condenses in your lungs to form tar. This is a healthy lung. And this is the amount of tar a pack-a-day smoker breathes in every year. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Okay, the previous video has allowed you to see, okay, what tar can cause. right? So this one, tar, it paralyzes the ciliary lining in your air passages. Remember your trachea, all the cilia on the epithelial cells, it paralyzes it, so it will not allow the cilia to move. And not only that, it's carcinogenic. So tar is a component that you can find in our roads, the black color thing in the roads, right? So look at the effects over there, right? It increases the risk of lung cancer, reduce efficiency of gas exchange. The dust particles cannot be removed because your ciliary lining is actually paralyzed, and it increases the risk of these two diseases which we will talk about shortly: chronic bronchitis and emphysema. CHRONIC, BRONCHITIS, and EMPHYSEMA. Okay, the words in bold are those that you need to fill up into your notes. So yeah, please do. Okay, so note nicotine and carbon monoxide will cause increase the risk of atherosclerosis, increase the risk of coronary heart disease, but tar, right, increases the risk of lung cancer, okay, cause chronic bronchitis and emphysema. You need to know specifically which part does which. Cool. All right, the last thing here, okay, irritants. Do we need to know this? So far I haven't seen them testing. No, good to know. Just irritants. Okay, this one also paralyzes the ciliary lining in the air passages. So once again, the dust particles in the mucous lining cannot be removed, increases the risk of these two diseases called chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Okay, so page 18, I don't know, drink, digest, photocopy into your mind, I don't know. Okay, you have to find a way to get this in. Okay, all right, so that's the effects that can be caused by tobacco smoke. Let's move on to the diseases. Oh, okay, sorry. Before that, the smoker cotton ball experiment. This one Mr. Cho got do. Okay, we watched the videos first before moving on to the diseases. Okay, so actually it shows you, right, when you smoke, right, what happens or what goes into your system is actually captured by the cotton ball. So enjoy the video. Okay. so this is the 10th cigarette. Okay, and as you can see over here, that most of the top cotton balls have turned brown. Okay, brown in color. The ones at the bottom here is more white than brown. So yeah, I'm guessing that the cigarette did not reach all the way there, mom and dad. But take a look at this. Okay, the things that you're inhaling into your system, right? So let's compare the cotton balls when the ball has finished its 10th cigarette. Yeah. Okay, welcome back. Right, so I really hope that would have discouraged you from smoking. Okay, don't go there, please. Okay, so now there are three main diseases caused by tobacco smoke. Okay, chronic bronchitis, emphysema, and lung cancer. So now I'm on page 19 of your notes. We are almost there. Now, what is chronic bronchitis? Okay, especially for those who want to go into medicine, or you want to or have smokers, or smokers, you can tell them about it. Symptoms: you have breathing difficulties, right, due to blocked airways. So your mucus, right, keep on over secrete, right. The cilia is paralyzed and unable to remove the mucus, right. So there's a lot of breathing difficulties. So come, let's fill in the blanks together. So your epithelium lining will become inflamed, right? Mucus is secreted excessively, blocking airways, and the cilia lining is paralyzed. So the mucus and dust cannot be removed. So your airways, right, will become blocked and becomes very difficult to breathe. So this is called chronic bronchitis, right? So you keep cough, cough, cough. You're trying to get it out, but it's all stuck there. So persistent and prolonged violent coughing can lead to emphysema. Okay, emphysema, right? So breathing difficulties due to blocked airways. There's a lot of persistent and violent coughing. So when you keep coughing, what it does, right, is that your alveoli, right, can you see at first there's a lot of partition walls, right? It's healthy and there's a lot of surface area. When you cough, you will damage this and lower the surface area for gas exchange, making it more difficult to breathe. So the partition walls in emphysema, the disease emphysema, is the partition walls will break down due to the violent coughing, right? The surface area for gaseous exchange will reduce, the lung will lose its elasticity, becomes inflated with air, and will start resulting in breathing difficulties. So know that chronic bronchitis and emphysema, the symptoms are different, right? So the thing is, can you get both at the same time? Yes, together they will be called COPD. Okay, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So chronic means going on for a long time. Obstructive means it stops, right? Obstructs. Pulmonary means a type of lung disease that does that. Okay, so chronic bronchitis and emphysema together called COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Okay, so there's a lot of videos here. The best way is learn by is through people. So okay, let's listen to what this guy has to say.
It's a disease that affects the lungs and can eventually make the otherwise unconscious effort of breathing seem almost impossible. COPD, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, can do damage for decades without giving any noticeable signs that it's there until permanent and irreversible damage has been done.
Initially, patients will notice that they can't walk up hills, or can't mow their lawn, or can't do the shopping that they were used to. But as the disease gets worse, patients are more and more restricted. And the real severe cases, people are really limited. They are so short of breath they can't do anything else other than just sit in a chair and watch television.
72-year-old COPD patient Marvin Tibbetts describes how it feels to lose his breath.
To sum it up real fast, it's just like you're drowning. If you could visualize yourself underwater and you've expended all your air in your body and you need a breath of air, it's not there.
In the United States, tobacco use is a key factor in the development and progression of COPD.
Probably about 90% of patients who have COPD have a pretty clear history of cigarette smoking. It's been estimated between 10 and 20% of patients who smoke regularly get COPD. But everybody who smokes is at risk. There are very good studies that show that if we are able to get people to stop smoking, the disease course will not be as bad as it would otherwise be. People will not go back to normal, but the deterioration in lung function over time will not be as bad.
Here is a typical example of someone who starts smoking when they are young. At age 18, the lungs are grown and completely open. No damage is evident. By age 28, there is a consistent cough, sometimes called a smoker's cough. By the mid to late 40s, lung function is beginning to be seriously impaired, and there is difficulty breathing with some simple tasks. By the 50s, people who perform physical labor, for instance, find it hard to continue this kind of work. And most COPD patients can't walk for long distances and can't lift objects. By the late 50s or early 60s, quality of life is severely impaired. COPD patients, assuming they continue to smoke, cannot do much of anything in the way of physical activity. The standard treatments for COPD are medications called bronchodilators. Their main job is to help keep airways relaxed so airflow can be increased. These treatments won't restore damaged lungs, but they can definitely improve the symptoms of COPD. In addition, patients are encouraged to use pulmonary rehabilitation.
Pulmonary rehab is a combination of exercise and education that is geared to promote self-care of patients with pulmonary conditions, because there is no cure, but we don't want the condition to get worse and then reduce their quality of life any further.
It's not giving me any more breath, but it's teaching me ways that I can breathe better. I'm breathing better today than I did yesterday and the day before.
But the bottom line here is simple. People need to stop smoking.
It's not as terrible and horrible to stop as what you think it is, but you're going to have to want to stop. That's the key. You want to stop. And my advice to people is stop before you get sick.
It's clear. The dangers of smoking must be communicated long before people pick up their first cigarette. Hopefully, as the number of people who smoke decreases, the probability of patients suffering from COPD will decrease as well.
The last part of the chapter is lung cancer. It refers to the uncontrolled division of cells which produces lumps of tissues called outgrowths. Right? So smokers have a higher chance of getting lung cancer. You must know which cigarette component does this, which is tar. Okay, you can write it down for yourself. Okay, so speaking so much already, once you are ready, okay, we'll move on to your quick check 10.5. Okay, spend some time to handle this first. Okay, then when you're ready, then come back and check the answers here. Okay, so welcome back to quick check 10.5. So come, let's go through the answers to the 3 questions that you've just tried. Mr. Cho didn't try anything funny with you though. So these questions are actually taken and lifted off your 10-year series and O-level questions, and it's exactly the way how Cambridge would test. Okay, so you must know. Okay, this section must really know well. Okay, don't give it up to chance. Now, the 3 components, right, that tobacco smoke on November 2009, question 4. Okay, paper 4: nicotine, tar, and carbon monoxide. Okay, can? Now, number 2. Okay, they ask you, cigarette smoke contains carbon monoxide and nicotine, right? Describe and explain why they are harmful. So it's basically just take the table, copy paste, right? Carbon monoxide will reduce the ability of blood to carry oxygen. I mean, if you want, you can say it forms a permanent bond with hemoglobin. So it increases the rate of fatty deposits on the inner arterial wall. 2 marks, right? No, sorry, I think this is 1. 1, sorry. So then this reduces the ability of blood to carry oxygen, narrowing lumen of arteries, increasing blood pressure, and increases the risk of atherosclerosis. Okay, then for nicotine, right, addictive drug makes blood clot more easily, increases the heart rate and blood pressure, increases blood clots, right, increases the risk of atherosclerosis. Okay, it's just copy and pasting, nothing much to talk about here. Now, in the 2019 paper, that one they really challenged your seniors, which I believe that you should have been stumped by a bit also, right? So instead of asking directly, they actually played with your seniors by asking the other way around. That means, what happens if I were to reduce each component by half? So it's another level skill lah. So it's not just take the thing and copy paste anymore. It's about understanding what each part does, and then you have to make a guess, clever guess from there. Right, so if you reduce carbon monoxide by half, basically the effects all reverse lah. So right, more red blood can carry oxygen. There's going to be less fatty deposits on the inner arterial wall, right? Decrease the risk of atherosclerosis and decrease the risk of heart attack by half. Or I wouldn't write by half actually, because I don't know whether it is proportional. So I'll just write decreases the risk of atherosclerosis and the risk of heart attack. Okay, if you reduce nicotine by half, the blood will not clot as easily, right? The heart rate and blood pressure will decrease, the risk of atherosclerosis and heart attack will also drop or will fall. Okay, if I'm speaking too fast, you might want to pause the video first, copy first, then listen again to what I have to say. Okay, if not, I'm moving on to 3B. Right? So they say suggest what changes occurs in the airway so that the coughing and wheezing would decline. So basically saying that when the tar is being cleared, right, the ciliary lining in the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles are able to remove the mucus now, right, because the cilia is not paralyzed anymore. So hence coughing and wheezing will decline because the mucus are no longer built up there to irritate your respiratory system. Okay, lastly, 3C, right, I asked you the chemical found that causes lung cancer. Like I said, you need to know which part causes what. It is tar. And D, besides smoking, state 2 other causes of heart attack. You should know the coronary heart disease one, right? Lack of exercise, you cannot handle your stress well, your diet is high in saturated fat. Okay, so with that marks the end of 10.5. Okay, it's a very video-based video. Right, then one more part and we are done with the chapter. Okay, thank you for sticking by so far.